It's the last game of 2024, and I'm here at the King Power Stadium, and I've got a bag full of goodies from Manchester City, and we are going to go meet some of our loyal supporters who have followed the club all throughout the year and try and give them back some love. Okay, so I'm with Ernie. He just got off the coach. A 2-hour journey today, not too bad. What's been your best moment of 2024?
Well, obviously winning the league 4 times. I mean, will that ever be done again? We'll have to wait and see, but I don't think so.
So, you've been travelling a lot watching City. Tell me how long you've been a supporter for this club for?
I've been a season ticket holder 35 years.
Well, okay, today, of course, is our last home game of 2024. I've got a very special gift inside my pocket, which I'm about to give you for the game. So if you want to open it up, that is for you. And it's a very special Manchester City watch for you to take. Thank you for all your support. The club really appreciates it, and we appreciate you too.
Raz, thank you very much.
My pleasure, mate. Thank you.
Gobsmacked.
Well, enjoy it. Enjoy the game. We're going to win today, right?
Well, the corner's long, but it's got to turn soon. It's got to turn soon. And if it doesn't, we'll build again.
Ernie, thank you. Thank you for all your support in 2024 as well. Thank you. Top man. All right, we're going to do this interview very, very quick because she's not got a jacket on, but she's repping the City shirt. Your first away game is the last game of 2024.
Well, I feel like we need to turn the tides around, and hopefully I'm a bit of a good luck charm. You know, I think it's important, and we got it.
Well, let's hope so. You could have a 100% away record, which would be amazing. 2024 was a special year. City won the Premier League. There was loads of good moments. Is there anything that stands out for you?
Well, I guess, you know, all the wins at the start of the season just made us feel very special, very lucky. And having our great players, Haaland and De Bruyne, just great.
Well, listen, as a club, we're very lucky and we're very special to have supporters like you. So we've got a little gift for you to take with you into the away, and hopefully it'll keep you warm as well because you've not got your jacket on. But we're going to, in the Santa suit, we'll look for her in the away end. Enjoy your game, and hopefully we'll see you at many more games as well, all right?
100%, thank you.
Thank you, take care. All right, okay, so this young man has travelled from very, very far away for today's game. Where are you from, and what's your name?
My name's Marcel, and I'm from Barcelona, Spain.
Okay, so it's the last game of 2024. I want to know, what is your best memory watching City this year?
When City won the Premier League, I remember it was a hot sunny day, and I was watching the match, and I got so happy when Foden scored, and I remember screaming, and the neighbours got angry. So yeah.
Well, listen, I'm sure the neighbours understand, and Erling Haaland was very, very good that year, wasn't he? Incredible. And we've got a very special gift for you. We're going to give you this. This is for you. My pleasure. Thank you for supporting us so much in 2024. And what, we're going to win the game today?
Yeah, of course. 2-0.
2-0. Well, let's hope so. Listen, enjoy the game and enjoy your day. Thank you, mate.
That was, of course, FG Santa. He is at Leicester today, and of course, as are our Manchester City team. You can see them arriving. A very good afternoon to you. Thank you very much for joining us on the last Matchday Live of the season. It is a 2:30 p.m. kickoff in the Premier League. City face Leicester at the King Power Stadium. As always, Matchday Live is the very first place to get your team news. But do you know what? It's not out yet, but I'm going to give you a little Christmas tidbit present. And I can tell you that Kevin De Bruyne starts today and captains. Very exciting. Kevin De Bruyne starts today. I'll give you the full team news the second that I'm actually allowed to. So you can see the team arriving. There is Nathan Ake, hopefully a fit Nathan Ake arriving as well. So the last game of 2024, and it is a very special one for our man Pep Guardiola as well. So it's time. I can give you the team news for today. So just one change from the team that drew on Boxing Day. In goal, of course, it is Stefan Ortega. And then Rico Lewis. Manu Akanji. And yes, he's fit. It's Nathan Ake. Josko Gvardiol. And of course, Kovacic. Our man Kevin De Bruyne starts, and he is captain today. Bernardo Silva. Savinho. Phil Foden. And Erling Haaland. So that is your starting 11 for today. So just the one change. Doku drops to the bench. Kevin De Bruyne starts today. And welcome to Matchday Live. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are here in the studio. FG and Steve Howie are at the King Power Stadium, and I am joined in the studio by two very special guests, two Premier League winners. Neither of them for City, but it's fine. It's all good. We're still thrilled to have them here today. Of course, Shaun Wright-Phillips is back. Hey, Shaun.
What's happening, Nat?
I'm good, mate. All good, thank you. And we are joined today for his first time on the show. Of course, won the league at Leicester. Marc, Albrighton, welcome.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much.
Where do you keep your Premier League winners' medal?
Oh, it's in the safe at home. Yeah, locked away.
Okay.
Locked away.
Shaun?
I would like it on show, but yeah.
Yeah, but don't want to risk it.
Nah.
Okay, Shaun.
Where no one can find it apart from myself.
Okay.
Can't tell you then, can I?
Okay, in a safe somewhere as well. Okay, well, thank you very much both for joining us today. Let's get straight into that team news. It's one change for City. Doku is on the bench. Other news as well for everybody, good news as well. Jack is also on the bench today, as is Kyle Walker. Doku drops to the bench. Kevin De Bruyne starts. That is the big news for me, Shaun.
Yeah, it's massive. I think with him in the team, you see a lot of different things from a lot of different players in terms of attacking-wise, the runs that they make, because they know the ball's going to come at some point. But I think for Kev now, he just needs to get those minutes under his belt to get back to what we know he can do.
Marc, it's nice to have a more, I don't want to say non-biased, not that you're biased, not that I'm biased, Shaun, but a more neutral opinion today. When you see that City starting 11, regardless of the run that we've been on, what's your first thoughts? Yeah,
it's obviously, as a fan of the opposition, it's worrying. It is, because you see the quality on show there. No matter what team they put out, they've got quality in abundance, and obviously Kevin De Bruyne, probably his injury record has affected him, and but to have him back, I know for City is huge, and he just needs to get minutes now, like Shaun says, and get up to match speed and find his best form again.
Yeah, we've had a lot of injury problems this season, which of course we've talked about a lot, Shaun. But if you're specifically looking at that attacking lineup, I mean, that's pretty much as strong as it gets for City, obviously with the options of Doku and Grealish on the bench as well. But when you're looking at De Bruyne, Bernardo, Savinho, Foden, Haaland, I mean, that's an attacking line that makes me excited.
Yeah, it's very exciting attacking line, but it's very rarely City put out a team that isn't exciting. I think it just goes from a strength for a strength in a completely different way. They all bring something different to the game, and I think now we're starting to see the likes of Bernardo getting goals, and hopefully that kind of runs through the team and more people start adding. It takes a little bit of pressure off Haaland.
Do you think that we'll see Bernardo out Phil in the middle and Bernardo out wide today?
No, I can't believe after all this. I
don't know why I asked. I know, sorry.
Actually try to guess where Pep's going to play people. I reckon, more so. I think it'll be more Bernardo that'll be out there, because you'll use Phil in there with Kevin, I should imagine. And Savinho maybe go on the left, and he does like to cross the ball. So hopefully there's more options there for Haaland to get more chances.
I know, I apologise. I ask it every game, don't I? I don't know why I bother, Marc. We play where do we think they'll play game, and half the time we've no idea, and we guess and we get it wrong. When you look at that City attacking lineup, who is it specifically there that sort of worries you or gets you excited as well?
I've been really impressed with Savinho when he's played. I didn't really know much about him before. I'm not sure too many people did, but every time I've seen him play, I'm sure you've used the comparison before, maybe, of Riyad Mahrez, and obviously someone that I've played with, Riyad, and the quality that he's got, his first touch, the fact that he can go on either side, and how positive he is, and I see that in Savinho. So it's he's been exciting for me to see, and just another one that City have brought in, and seems to be coming good.
That's a serious comparison. Obviously, you've played with Riyad Mahrez. We loved Riyad Mahrez. I wish we had Riyad Mahrez playing right now as well. For Savinho, though, to have come to the Premier League for the first time, and he seems to have just fit in so easily. How difficult is that?
It is, and I think players have come to Manchester City in the past, and it's probably took them a year to get going and find the ways in which Pep works. So he's come in, and I think Pep's used him very well, and but he does seem to have taken to the game quite quickly. And I'm not for 1 minute saying that he's on Riyad's level yet. So I'd just like to make that clear. Riyad was like top class. He was incredible. But I think he's just got a likeness about him, and he can push on and go and do good things. Yeah.
Hey, I'm good with him being, Riyad being a starting point, and if he can, if he can become half the player, that Riyad Mahrez was, that would be incredible. Do you like that comparison?
Yeah, I do. I appreciate watching him as well. I think he just needs that goal. I think once he gets that goal, I think that'll take his confidence and what he believes in that final third to another level for me.
On confidence, obviously Erling Haaland missed the penalty against Everton on Boxing Day. It's been a more difficult season for him, as it has, as a team, as we know this run that we're on. For Erling Haaland, where do you think his confidence levels are? How do we get him back to that uber confident where every time the ball touched him, it was going to go in the back of the net?
I don't think he's a man that relies on that, personally. I think if you watch him in games, he could most probably miss 7 chances, but you give him another chance and he'll be in that exact same place to try and correct that mistake. Confidence isn't something that worries. I think it's more of a team thing. I think when he was on form, the chances were coming all the time. At the minute, he isn't getting that many chances, and the ones that he is getting are not clear-cut chances. He has to fight and scuff to get in the position to score the goals. But look, even in there, he's there again. He misses a penalty. He's offside, but he's still there. So I think the quicker Kevin and Phil and Savinho get up to the speed that we all know they're capable of, I think we'll just see him come back as if he never went. And everyone's talking about whether he's confident. He's got 13 goals this season.
I know. Second highest in the Premier League. Behind Salah, who's having one of the seasons of his life. Yeah.
Exactly. So I think he'll be fine. I think that'll be fine.
I couldn't believe when he missed the penalty though. Honestly, Shaun, I'd put my house on him scoring a penalty.
When I saw it, it looked like he was expecting him to go the wrong way. And because he doesn't go the wrong way, it makes it look like it wasn't a great penalty. But you got to put those in the corners regardless, just in case he does guess the right way. And if you saw, Pickford had it on his water bottle, didn't he? So Pickford's obviously done all his homework as well.
I loved that when I saw that somebody had got the zoomed in picture of the water bottle. They always do that. Quick word on the defence, Marc. Obviously, we've had a lot of issues because we've got a lot of injuries. Ruben Diaz is out again. John Stones is out again. But the good news is that Nathan Ake is back today. How highly do you rate him?
Yeah, I do, and he's been a top class player for many years now, and he's obviously bided his time at the start when he first came to the club, and over the years he seems to have got better and better, and I think he'll be big today, especially with his pace. No matter who Leicester play up front, they're going to have an element of pace, so I think that will be crucial for Man City for him to be there and bring that to their back line. But yeah, he's good with the ball. He's good defensively. He's concentrated. Like he's always switched on. And then he's a goal threat as well when he goes up for corners. You see him so often. His desire to get on the end of crosses from corners is fantastic. So I think he's got all the attributes, and he's had a fantastic career so far. And I'm sure he can go on and do even more.
He's going to have a game on his hands today because we'll give you the full Leicester team in a few minutes. We're just going to go back over to the King Power. But the news that I am hearing is that, sadly for us, Jamie Vardy does start. Don't smile too big, Marc. Watch that there. Right, we're going to give you the full Leicester team news very shortly. But in the meantime, back over to FG and to Steve Howie. So Steve Howie is also on your co-comms today that you'll get later on with the wonderful Alistair Mann on the City app as well. So back over to the King Power.
Yes, thank you so much, Natalie. Welcome to the King Power Stadium. It's Manchester City's last game of 2024. It's been a very special year. We've just seen the Manchester City team news. I'm here pitchside with Steve Howie. Let's get straight into it, shall we? We'll focus on the back four. Nathan Ake, a big one, is starting. Many people expected him potentially to miss it through an injury or something, but it's great to see him starting today's game.
It is, yeah. I mean, watching the game on Boxing Day, when he came off, was doing the game with Paul Dickoff, and we both sort of said, we think he's going to be missing for another couple of weeks, which again kind of is what's been happening with City. Players coming back and maybe he's not coming back and not fully fit and getting injured again. But to see him on the team sheet today is absolutely brilliant news. Yeah, absolutely is. And of course he's partnering Manu Akanji. Until last week we hadn't seen that for a little bit of a while, but they had a spell last season where they were absolutely brilliant towards the end, especially away from home. Akanji and Ake, do you think they complement each other? Well, yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, they're good players. I mean, the back four, when you look at the back four, Guardiola and obviously Rico Lewis, very, very good players. So, you know, you look at that back four and you would expect it's probably difficult to break down. I mean, of course, there's a lot of questions again about the Everton game and stuff like that, but really, Everton didn't cause any problems to the back four. I don't think the goalkeeper Ortega had that much to do as well. So a very solid back four, and that's a great base to work from.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure lots of City fans who are watching Matchday live, and especially Natalie in the studio, will be very, very confident looking at that back four. We'll move forward, and this is a big one as well. Captain today, back in the starting lineup, is Kevin De Bruyne. I mean, it goes without saying how much this man offers and what a boost that is to us.
Well, he is absolutely top quality player. And again, you look at I suppose not the problems, but when you're missing key players, again, obviously injuries in, out, comes on, and it's difficult to get yourself into the game. I mean, I can remember there was a game, I think last season against Newcastle, when he came on and absolutely changed the game. He was absolutely immense. But of course, to start the game, to be captain, and he can dictate things from the start. So again, brilliant news.
Yeah, absolutely. And Mateo Kovacic as well. He had a really good spell in the midfield against Everton as well. He offers so much. He's so good at carrying the ball. Of course, we're missing Rodri. Everyone knows the Ballon d'Or winner, unfortunately, is still injured. Kovacic offers a lot, and he complements that midfield very, very much, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned it on Boxing Day game, before the game. I think he's one of these players that's kind of looked over a little bit, and I think that's not just because he's at Manchester City, but I mean any place that he's gone to, I think he's underrated. I think he's a very, very good player. He does the work which a lot of players don't really want to do. He's very aggressive. He can win the ball. He can set up play. We've seen him get the odd goal as well, so that will be nice today. But to have him there and that little bit of insurance is brilliant news again.
Yeah, it is indeed. And back to the Kevin De Bruyne situation, one man who'll be really, really happy is starting is Erling Haaland, a man that's got an incredible goal-scoring record for Manchester City, an incredible goal-scoring record in his career. They can keep doubting him, but he's going to come back and he's going to score goals, isn't he?
Well, look, Kareem always sort of rises to the top, and he is a top player. Of course, things get said when he's not scoring goals, and does he come into the game a lot more, or should he come into the game a lot more? Listen, he's a born goal scorer, and I think when you've got players like City have in their starting lineup with Kevin De Bruyne and Silva and players like that, when they create chances, he's going to score. A lot of averages tells you he will score, and of course he hasn't. He missed the penalty on Boxing Day, so he'd be desperate to get on the score sheet. I've got a feeling today that is going to be the case.
And that is exactly the feeling I have as well. So hopefully we've not jinxed it here at pitchside. Savio, a man who's not quite scored in a Manchester City shirt, he actually, in my opinion, had a really, really good game against Everton. He showed a lot more positivity. That confidence seems to be coming back in, and with a run of games, he starts again today, with a run of games and, you know, players like De Bruyne to potentially feed the ball to him. That goal's on its way, isn't it?
Absolutely. I think you can tell he's kind of, it's getting to the point where he's over-trying because he's that desperate to score goals. Performance-wise, he's been excellent. You know, he won the penalty on Boxing Day against Everton. I do like him. He's direct. He gets at you. He's somebody as a fullback you wouldn't want to play against. But again, it's only a matter of time before he gets on that score sheet.
I mean, there's a man in the studio, Shaun Wright-Phillips, who I know raves about him because I remember when he first joined, he told me pitchside, he was like, this man is going to be a problem. And listen, who would argue with Shaun Wright-Phillips when it's to do with wingers, hey? So let's head back to the studio and get the verdict from them.
Thank you very much to FG and to Steve Howie. I would never argue with Shaun Wright-Phillips about anything. Right, let's have a look at the Leicester starting 11 now. That's two changes from the team that were beaten by Liverpool on Boxing Day. So in goal, it's Stalacic, Justin, Cody, Vestergaard, Christiansen, Winks, Samari, Buonanotte, El Canouse, Mavididi, and sadly, Jamie Vardy starts. He is captain. I say that because his record against us is so good. The substitutes you can see on your screen there. Of course, Jamie Vardy missed the game against Liverpool. 6 goals in the Premier League this season, so a good return so far. But when he plays us, Marc, I know he's consistently good for Leicester, but when he plays us, he becomes the greatest of all time.
Yeah, he has got a good record, obviously, over the years against Man City. Remember a hat-trick that he scored at the Etihad. So he has got a good track record. He likes playing against them. I think it's got something to do with the fact that Man City have a lot of the ball and he likes to play on that counter-attack, so the transitions. As soon as we win the ball back, it's down the side straight for Vards, and he's scored some very good goals. Obviously, seeing some here.
Oh,
yeah, it's a great finish.
Nobody has scored more against City in Pep's time than Jamie Vardy.
Yeah, well, yes, that's good news for Leicester today then. Yes, it's obviously every player's got teams that they enjoy playing against, and Man City seems to be one for Jamie Vardy.
Good positive though, Shaun. You'll see from all those goals, most of them have come at the Etihad. He likes to play at ours to score, not so much when he's at home. But yeah, I mean, he's playing today, Shaun. He's always a threat. I mean, he's a. I don't know what the right word is to describe him, but to be 37 and to still be playing at this level and to still cause defence is problem. He's almost an enigma, isn't he?
Yeah, well, he's showing his class. I think there's certain things in football you don't lose, and that is one of them. They might say he may have lost a yard or he's getting a little bit slower, but you don't need to be that quick if you get the ball in the right areas at the right times, and that's what he showed on coming back to the Premier League. It's just we need to limit the chances he gets because we know he's clinical against us, and like Marc said, the way we play kind of suits the way he wants to play with our high line and the possession and stuff like that. So hopefully we can snuff that out today.
What would you like to see City do then to be able to snuff that out?
It's hard because it depends on the team I'd say City play against, because with the low block, it's hard to not allow them to have one break or one transition because of how deep they are in the passes we're trying to force and make happen. So it's going to happen. It's the reaction after it. I think the recovery runs sometimes could be better, or foul if you have to foul sort of thing. Be tactical and clever about it. Just see your team get behind the ball.
I read online, Marc, and I figure you might know this because I'm sure you've seen him eat many a meal. I read online that Jamie Vardy, before a game, has 3 cans of Red Bull, a cheese and ham omelette and a double espresso. Is that true?
Yeah, it's all true. He'll have a can of Red Bull as soon as he wakes up, first thing. Then he'll sort of get ready, go down for his breakfast, his ham and cheese omelette, and he'll have another Red Bull with that, and then have one just before the game as well, along with his coffee on the way to the game. So it's all true. He's got some habits that probably only suit him, and I think because he's done it all his career and it's got him success, he just thinks, why change it?
That amount of caffeine would put me in hospital. Like, I wonder if he's walking around with the shakes constantly.
Yeah, I think if you don't have it, he gets the shakes. So I think it's important that he keeps up with it. Yeah,
it's working for him. In terms of that, the rest of the players in that starting 11 today, of course, Ayew is suspended because of the amount of cards that he's picked up so far. But who else in the Leicester team, attacking-wise, do you think we should be keeping our eye on?
I've been really impressed with Buonanotte since he's come in. He's come in on loan from Brighton, young lad, and probably took first couple of games took to get going, and then after that he's been one of Leicester's better players this season. He brings a creativity to the side. He's chipped in with a couple of goals as well, and but even the other side of it as well, his work rate and the way he's helped the team. In the defensive side of it has been superb, and I know a lot of Leicester fans have been really pleased with him since he's come in. So I'd say him. Obviously, Mavididi was fantastic for us last year as well. He brings a direct attacking threat, very skillful. So they have got quality. They have got quality in there. Unfortunately, the defensive side of it, they're just leaking too many goals, but especially going forward, they've got quality.
Conor Coady always seems like a really good guy, doesn't he? You always see nice videos of him. By the way, it's the yellow cards. So are you suspended today because of yellow cards? It resets after today, but you've got Vardy and Vestergaard, who, if they get booked today, will be and somebody else, then they will be banned, by the way. Skip. But in terms of Conor Coady, I've always really liked him as a player, wherever he's been, Shaun. What do you make of him?
He's got that leader mentality. He's one of those defenders that I see that likes to not boss people around, but if people are out of positions, he'll pull them back. He's got a bit like Ruben Diaz, for example. I think we miss part of that leadership, and I think Conor Coady, everywhere he's been, he brings that, and he's the guy that wants to throw his body in front of the ball. He don't like conceding goals, and things like Marc said, that leaking goals, that will be something that will be upsetting somebody like him, and I think every team needs that one defender like that.
Yeah, when you mentioned the comparison to Ruben Diaz, when the games when Ruben Diaz has been out, a couple of them have been crying out for that leadership at the back. How important is the leadership, the experience of Conor Coady going to be to get Leicester through this season?
Yeah, I think the last sort of couple of years have been a bit of a struggle for Conor. He didn't really play as much as he would have wanted to when he's come to the club last year, and even parts of the early parts of this season, probably not played so much. And Shaun will probably tell you this as well. Like, if you've got that leadership quality, it's harder to do that when you're not playing. So it's harder to have that impact on the rest of the dressing room. So his leadership has probably been a little bit diluted. But when you see when he starts and you see him in the warm up, you see him around the dressing room beforehand. When he's starting, he's on it, and he makes sure all the lads are on it. He makes sure everybody's doing the right things. He does it anyway, but when he starts, it goes up a level. And I think in a dressing room, especially when you're struggling down the bottom of the table, that's huge. And that's probably one thing that we've lacked as a team. There probably isn't enough leaders in there. Obviously, Vardy, we've got Con, and anything below that, there isn't really too much.
What's the atmosphere like since the appointment of Ruud van Nistelrooy? Obviously got a couple of really good results really quickly, 3 defeats now in a row. But what was the kind of feeling like when he was appointed?
One of excitement, because I think with Steve Cooper there before, it never really got going. The fans never really took to it, possibly because of his Nottingham Forest connections. It was always going to be a tough job for Steve Cooper to have a good start to this season because of numerous things, really. Obviously, like I say, the Nottingham Forest connections, plus the squad it probably was a bit of a championship squad in terms of quality. So Ruud van Nistelrooy comes in, and there's an initial buzz. There's an excitement, but obviously the first 2 games we got 4 points, and great, fantastic. It started well, but the last 2 or 3 weeks haven't gone as we would have liked. So that buzz soon sort of tames down a little bit, and it don't get any easier over the Christmas period with Liverpool, Man City, and then Villa next. So it's a struggle for him at the minute, but hopefully he's got time to implement his ideas, and come the new year we'll be all guns blazing.
Baptism of fire, that, isn't it, when you say it like that as well. Going to Anfield as well, and then Villa is wow. And it's not helped, obviously, that it's accumulated at a time when Wolves have started picking up some points as well, and it's dragged us into the bottom 3.
Yeah, and that's the thing. These teams that they are going to come good. Like Wolves have got quality in their side, so they're not going to be down there for the season. You wouldn't have thought so. It's down to us. We can't look at teams around us. It's purely down to Leicester, down to Ruud van Nistelrooy and the players to like I say, implement the ideas on the training ground and try and get some positive results.
Now, between all the ex-players on the show today, one of them has played against Ruud van Nistelrooy just the once, and that is our very own Steve Howie. So we're going to head back over now to the King Power Stadium, to FG, and to hear about Steve Howie's experiences marking Van Nistelrooy.
Yes, thank you. Welcome back to the King Power. You're probably wondering why we've swiveled a little bit. Well, the sun's on our left-hand side, and we're doing our best to get the best pictures for you watching at home. We've just seen the Leicester City team news announced, and of course we're going to pick out a couple of players before moving on to chat about the manager. The captain today, Jamie Vardy, a man who, a serial winner, it's safe to say, part of a massive part of this club's history. A big boost for him and to be playing today.
Yeah, I mean, I think he missed the last game. We all know how good he is. I mean, he scores goals. He's still a pest. I mean, I know in football terms he's kind of getting on. I mean, he's still very young, let's be honest. But he still chases defenders down. Sometimes he can be a little bit isolated up front. And so I think the manager will be wanting more bodies around him. but he's certainly a threat. And of course, as defenders, you've always got to be switched on with him.
How big is his experience in a game like today? Because they're coming up against a side, albeit a Manchester City side that a lot of people have got eyes on, but the quality is there to be seen. But having someone like Jamie Vardy, his experience, not even just on the pitch, but also to get the fans back on your side in games that might be difficult, super important.
Well, of course it's important, but as well in the dressing room, just before leading up to the game, he'd be speaking to players. A lot of players probably don't need speaking to, but he'll still be a voice in there. Obviously, he's a huge fan favourite, so they'll be delighted he's on the team sheet as well. And of course, during the game, how that goes, he's able to sort of, because of his experience, be able to manage it. You know, speak to these players, give them a little bits of maybe his information, a little bit of wisdom. But we're hoping, actually, he's not saying that much apart from, like, can we get the ball? Because it's going to be a lot of Man City, hopefully.
Yeah, fingers crossed. I mean, from a defensive point of view for Leicester, Conor Cody's starting today. That's a man who's a household name in football, a man who's been a leader everywhere he's gone, and no change or no surprise to see him in the starting lineup.
Yeah, I mean, obviously at Wolves, he was very, very good. He was getting in the England squad. Came here, didn't really get in the team. If I'm being brutally honest, and it was a wonder why, because I rate him. I think he's a very good player, he's a very good defender, but he can also play. You know, he's good distribution with the ball, and he is one of these where at the back he organises it very, very well. So he's back in the team and has been for a while now. So again, he'll be relishing that battle, certainly against Erling Haaland.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, a man who's probably relishing the challenge is Ruud van Nistelrooy, who's now the manager of this club. He actually had the pleasure of playing against Steve Howe once in a 1-1 draw. Can you remember much about that game or when you played against him?
I can just remember his movement being very good. I think he scored as well, but that's not a shock, to be quite honest. But his movement was very good. Wasn't one of these players that you could speak to and wind up. He just kind of focused on his own game, knew what he wanted to do. But as I said, movement-wise, was absolutely superb. And that's a difficult one for defenders because you don't know whether he's going to go short, go long. So to pick him up and watch him in the box, which is really difficult. That's why he was as important and as good as what he was.
Did you ever see him transitioning into being a manager? Obviously, it's really difficult to look back in hindsight, but when you played against him on the pitch, you said he was quite quiet and he was just getting on with his job. But did you ever think he'd become a manager?
I don't think. I didn't realise straight at the time as well, I think he'd be a very good manager. I mean, I played with some lads that I would never have thought in a million years they'd be managers. Never, because of the different sort of shenanigans that went on in dressing rooms, and yet they have become managers. So it surprises you, but in football, as we say it, nothing surprises you.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, he's here now, and he's got a job on his hands. I mean, Leicester are in a bit of a difficult position here. He's joined here when he's joined from Manchester United, of course, and he's been given this opportunity. It's a massive boost for him of confidence. But how much of a job has he got to do?
Well, he's got a big job. I think that initially he got the new manager bounce. I think first 2 games they got 4 points. Could be wrong, but I think it was. And then since then they've really struggled. Now he has to kind of rejuvenate the players and get them on board. Maybe get them in the way that he's wanting to think and how he's wanting to set up. But it's going to be a tough ask, and it has been since them 2 games. And of course, there's another one thick and fast just now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this fixture here, will he be looking at it as more of an opportunity or sort of just a free hit when you come against Manchester City? Albeit this City side have got, we all know about the record that this club have got, but I mean, they're still a prestigious club, Premier League champions. Will he be looking at it as sort of just trying to get the basics right and not worrying as much about a result if it doesn't go their way today?
I don't think he'd be surprised if they get beat, put it that way. But I think at the same time, he'd probably be wanting to look at players, as always. I think as a manager, you're looking at players and how do they adapt, how do they cope with playing against top players, which obviously Leicester will be today. So of course he'd be looking at that. I don't think he'd be too disappointed if they get beat, but obviously that could be the manner of if it is a defeat. So he'd be looking at all different aspects of how they set up themselves, how they cope with it, and how they can push on in the future.
Now, of course, in the studio today, we've got a former Leicester player, a man who won the league, who was part of a massive part of the history here, Marc Albrighton. Have you got a word on Marc?
Well, it was funny because we were sitting in the press bit, and you look at the pictures. I mean, I was here, but I wasn't here that long. Well, that's a different story for reasons why. But you look at obviously the Premier League, and then it's called the Community Shield now, isn't it? And then the FA Cup. I mean, what they did here was absolutely superb. I do remember when I did play here, the noise was superb. And I think, when you look back at his career and what he achieved here is absolutely superb. So he's got to be massively proud of that.
Yeah, absolutely. A massive congratulations to everything he's achieved as well. We've got 3 absolute legends in the studio. We're not leaving you out, Natalie.
I Didn't think you were, FG. Thank you. Thank you very much to FG and to Steve Howie. Pictures of you all over Leicester, Marc. Very nice.
Yeah.
Howie's been eyeing them up.
Yeah, I think my dad must have been round and put them up.
Indeed, you were part of that Leicester team that won the league in 15-16. You played every single game that season as well. Whenever it's mentioned by anybody, does it still bring goosebumps, a big smile? I imagine it's just pure joy for you whenever you think about it.
It is, yeah. It was obviously like the best season of my career, and it is one of those things that sort of you speak about on a daily basis. You might bump into someone and they'll mention it, and it's just constant. And I think that will be the case for a long time to come as well, especially around the Leicester area. It's the group of players that won it. I think you walk on water anywhere in Leicester, and proud for me and my family especially, but just the group of lads that I did it with and achieved it with. It made it all the sweeter.
Never paid for a drink again in Leicester, I'm presuming.
No, fingers crossed, no.
That you talk about that group of lads, was that the key to the success, the bond that you all had?
I think it was a lot of it, yeah. There was obviously different factors. Obviously the manager came in at the start of the season and recognised that he had a good group there and didn't really change too much, implemented a couple of ideas, but didn't really complicate things. Kept it very simple for us, played to our strengths, got the best out of us. And then, yeah, I think the group, we had momentum, we had confidence, and we just had a togetherness on and off the pitch. Like we were best mates, like on a daily basis. It weren't like, right, you're away from the place now. You go your separate ways. If we had a few days off, we'd go away together, and it was little things like that just kept us so close.
Is that rare, Shaun? Have you had that at many clubs?
What, the togetherness?
Like wanting to actually hang out with them outside of work as well?
Yeah, pretty much all of them, to be fair. Yeah, but I get on with everyone, don't I? I don't really fall out with people, so yeah, but I think it's massive in terms of football. If you look at the clubs that have won the Premier League recently, there's always that team bond. They always enjoy spending time together, whether it be normal dinner or a few drinks. They always get together, and I think that cohesion you need. I think you don't want any bad eggs in a team that's trying to be successful. You all have to be going in the same direction, and I think the year that Marc won it, that's what it was like. They got stronger from strength to strength to strength, and once you get that and the belief grows, you just kind of see where it takes you, and it took them all the way to where it needed to.
All the way, yes. You mentioned Claudio Ranieri there. Where does he rate for you in terms of influence and managers that you've worked with in your career?
Yeah, I've been lucky enough to have some good managers. I think Brendan Rodgers was probably one of the best I've worked with. But I think with Claudio, he kept it very simple on the training pitch, but his man management skills were incredible. He'd just taken interest in your whole life, and it was a genuine interest as well. He was great with everybody in the squad, and I just felt like obviously there's a big thing made of when we kept our first clean sheet, and he took us pizza making. It was little things like that, and he'd just get everyone together, and he encouraged that togetherness. It didn't need much encouragement, but he was always all for it, and he would never stop it happening. Like you say, if we wanted to go for a few drinks, if it was the right time and the right place, then it'd be all for it. So yeah, got a lot to. We owe Claudio a lot for helping us achieve that and being there with us.
Who made the best pizza?
It definitely weren't me. Probably Claudio himself. He's used to doing it back in Italy, yeah.
I love that. I'd quite like to do that as a team building. We should maybe try that on Matchday Live, Shaun. We'll go pizza making.
Right. I'll leave that part to you. They got me doing sushi at other places, so I'm all right now.
I remember that. On that run to winning the league that year, you had a victory at the Etihad. You came and you beat us on that. We're going to have a little look at that now. I mean, even at that point, we'd won the league previous to that. We were becoming the colossal team that we were, coming to the Etihad and winning. I mean, the belief that you all must have had that you could go on at that point and do the whole thing.
Yeah, well, I think we had a lot of confidence going into the game as well. Like a lot of years I've played Man City, and you come to the Etihad and you half fear the worst a little bit. But I think that season was the total opposite, and we was very confident coming here, and obviously got the early goal, which settled everything down, and then just went on and just produced a fantastic performance, and it was, let's say, it was comfortable in the end. But even at the end of the game, and you're coming off, and the whole stadium were giving us a standing ovation coming off the pitch. So that spoke volumes to how well we was playing, and what we was doing in the Premier League and in football. And that guy was different class that day. So everything just clicked, and it worked out in the end.
Look at that goal. Oh,
special, isn't it?
And his so-called weaker foot as well.
Yeah.
Of course, we went on to sign him a couple of years later. This was Manuel Pellegrini's last season before Pep came in. I think it was 2 years later that we signed him. So you got to enjoy him for another year before we came and pinched him.
Yeah, he was incredible as a player, and even as a person as well. He was obviously young when I first met him, and over the years he just matured and got better. But he was just obsessed with football. Like, he was obsessed with football, and he managed to get in the Champions League with Leicester. But then the following year when we didn't get in there, it was just destined that he needed to play in the Champions League. That was the stage that he needed to be on, and he was, I think, for a lot of foreign players, that's what they watch, that's what they see on a weekly basis. They love the Champions League. So for him, he was obsessed with that, and wanted to be a part of that. So no one could begrudge him coming to Man City and realising them dreams.
He was so good in the Champions League for us as well. That's when he had his real standout games as well, so that makes total sense. So many players in that team, so many world-class talented players in that team. When you look at Mahrez, and you look at Kante in the team as well. I mean, we've already talked about how good Vardy is, but when you look back now, who was the standout for you? Who was the best player in that team?
It's difficult to put my finger on. Like, a lot of people ask you that, and obviously Mahrez had the skill, he had the flair. Vardy had the goals. Kante had the engine. Kasper kept us in a lot of games. So I'd probably say that the most influential player in the team was Kante, because I think he's the only player, I think, if you took out, we probably wouldn't have had the season we had. He was two men, basically. He was two players on the day, and when you've got sort of Rob Huth and Wes Morgan at centre backs, I think they'll be the first to tell you that to have him in front was crucial for them. As good as they were, and as strong and solid as they were as defenders, to have him in front was just another layer of defence that they'd need to get past to get to them. So he was great lad, great guy off the pitch as well, which always helps. But his influence on the pitch and the effect that he had on games was incredible.
Did he ever stop smiling? Did you ever see him not smiling?
No, but he's smiling like it was like he was embarrassed to be there. It was like it was a shy smile, which is incredible, because he was winning us the league single-handedly. So yeah, don't make any sense.
Did he cheat at cards? There was that rumour, wasn't there?
Oh, I don't know. I've not heard that one.
No, okay.
Yeah, I've not
heard that one on the grapevine.
Right, okay.
But maybe his face was just so innocent.
Yeah, possibly, yeah.
Well, thank you very much. Congratulations still, and I hope that you never tire of talking about it. And
no, never.
Never pay for a drink in Leicester, ever.
That's the aim, yeah.
Yeah. Right, we're going to go back over now to the King Power, and FG and Steve Howie are going to take a look back at 2024 and pick out some of their favourite Manchester City moments.
Yeah, 2024 has been a very, very special year for a Manchester City fan, and we're going to review our favourite moments. Steve, we'll start with you. What would you say your highlight of 2024 is?
I mean, a lot of people will probably differ, but then again, a lot of people will probably go along the same roads as well. I can remember the Kevin De Bruyne coming back. I'm going to mention about the Oscar Bob goal, of course, the great touch. I was so close to that as well, and his first touch was absolutely magnificent. And again, I'm going to go with Ortega's save against Son, which was, I mean, you looked at Pep's kind of reaction as well on the sideline about, this is the fine line. You can play all season with what's going on, and it comes down to that fine little moment. So, of course, changes the course, and Man City ended up winning the Premier League.
I mean, I think one of my highlights is Steve Howe doing accents at St James's Park before the game where Kevin De Bruyne made his return. It was a special moment, obviously, of course, for Kevin De Bruyne, for every Manchester City fan. We'd seen previously when he warmed up the week before, the whole Etihad erupted. That, for me, was a special moment, just to signify a legend in Sky Blue. But then Oscar Bob as well, last kick of the game, first goal in the Premier League.
Everything about that was when De Bruyne came on, he changed the game, he got that goal. I mean, people sort of say, is it a fluke that he's put it through the legs? I think he looks for that. He looks to put it through the defender's legs to get in the corner. And that ball as well, it's just a ridiculous ball. But it is a fantastic touch, quick feet in the back of the net. I mean, as I said, I was so close to it, it was brilliant. So, yeah, just to get that result as well and to be there was a pleasure.
Yeah, it was indeed, and there was a new chant in the away section, the Ole Ole Oscar Bob Bob Bob, which gets sung now to this day. Now back to your second point, a save made by the man who's warming up just behind us now, Stefan Ortega. I mean, the game in general, Tottenham Hotspur away, historically for Man City fans, and I'm speaking as a fan here, is horrific. We hadn't scored a goal there before Ake did in the cup earlier on in the season. That could be a highlight in itself. That save, talk me through your emotions watching that.
Not too far away from the manager, to be quite honest. I think it's weird, isn't it, that some teams have a team that they just don't get a result against, no matter what the difference is in the league or whatever. Just going there always seems to have the X sign on it. But of course, we all know how close it was. We all knew how close it was coming into the end of the season, and how important to get the 3 points was. And of course, when Son, we all know how good he is. When he's breaking clear, you're thinking it's going to be a goal. And of course, Ortega, he's not playing many games because we know how good Edison is. But wow, what a save! I mean, it's just, yeah.
And then the game, of course, was wrapped up after that by Erling Haaland from the penalty spot. Let's talk a little bit about that bogey team sort of thing. Why, from a player's perspective, why do you think that is? Does that play on the minds in the dressing room when people say, we're going to play there this week and we haven't had a result there in 15 odd years, or we haven't scored a goal at this stadium yet? Does that play on the mind? I know a lot of players like to say it doesn't. From a fan's point of view, it definitely does.
I think if you're a player that's been at a club for a while, and you've come across this team obviously consistently, and you haven't won, then it plays on your mind. Of course, we all know there's a lot of players that come to a club, then it's a rotation. They've gone and other players come in, so it's not that much of a thing. Fans, obviously, because they're the ones that's there all the time, it obviously plays on their minds. So I think there was a lot more built into it from the fans' point of view than it is the players. So, of course, they've just gone there and gotten the win they needed.
Yeah, absolutely. And 2024 was very, very special because, once again, Manchester City Football Club made history. 4 in a row. 4 Premier League titles in a row. Never been done before. Probably never will be done again. That moment when we lifted the title, in particular that last home game of the season where Phil Foden settled the nerves nice and early, that's got to be up there as a highlight as well. Yeah,
I mean, to win the league, to win this league, takes some doing. Because you've got to be so consistent. You've got to be lucky with injuries. Of course, we all know that hasn't been the case this season. But it's consistency, and that's what the worst. So to win it once is brilliant. To win it twice in succession, unbelievable. 4 times, well, it is. In the Premier League, it's unheard of. So, that is incredible. And as you said, the Phil Foden goal just settles everybody down. A nice early goal. Everybody expects you to get the result, but you've got to get the result. And of course, it could have been, like QPR. When that one, it was just you're looking at it thinking, what's going on? So of course, Phil gets the early goal, settles everybody down, and they clinch that 4 in a row.
Yeah, and I think the final highlight for me would probably be the Community Shield against Manchester United. For the only reason that it was Manchester United, we won that game. We came back as well with a goal from Bernardo Silva.
Well, it's always nice just to beat them in any competition, to be quite honest. So, yeah, I mean, to win that and to beat them. Not my favourite team, I have to be honest. Never were anyway. But it is what it is. So, but again, to beat them and to win that, fantastic.
And of course, another great moment in 2024 was our manager Pep Guardiola signing a new contract. Please stay forever, Pep.
100%. I mean, I've just walked past them there, and you know, I'm not one of these that kind of gets, oh wow, it's such and such, and I see him on the telly and stuff like that. But I've walked past him and I was a little bit nervous. I have to be honest. I mean, he's got to be right up there with like one of the best managers ever in football.
And funnily enough, he's best friends with Natalie Pike in the studio, because last week at the last home game she told me to stand in a particular spot and Pep would say hello. Rest assured, he walked past us and said hello to Natalie.
Oh well.
So let's head back to the studio.
Very
I'm sure
nice.
she's going to tell everyone on MATCHDAY Live about that.
It is true. Thanks so much, FG. Although it's not something I publicly tell people because I don't want Pep to stop doing it. So thanks for that, FG. If Pep stops saying hi to me, it's your fault, FG, and I'll never forgive you. Much like I'll never forgive you for stealing all of the best moments, because Shaun and I are supposed to spend 5 minutes now talking about our best moments of 2024, but they pretty much stole them all, Shaun.
Clearly.
Clearly.
So what we're going to talk about then?
Well, there's one more. We thought of one more, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
We did. Rodri winning the Ballon d'Or.
Yes, we did.
We're
You could talk
putting
forever about that, couldn't you, really?
Yes,
Anyone.
and do you know what's made it even more sweeter for me, Marc? This is what when I told you we could talk about anything on MATCHDAY Live. This is the perfect point.
it.
Do you know what's made it even sweeter for me? Did you hear Cristiano Ronaldo talking at the Dubai Global Football Awards in the last couple of days? And he went on stage in front of everybody and said that Vinicius Junior should have won it, and that just made it even more sweeter for me, Shaun. It made it even. I was like, cry more tears, everybody, because it doesn't matter because Rodri won it. The more that they get upset about it, the sweeter it makes it for me, Shaun.
It's the Real Madrid connection, isn't it, really?
Oh, the former Manchester United and Real Madrid player thinks that the Real Madrid player should have won.
There you go.
Shock.
Exactly.
Shock. But we know our Rodri deserved it, Marc, didn't he?
I think he did, yeah. I thought it was. I'll go with Rodri. I think he was superb, so he fully deserves it. Yeah, I can't believe that they didn't turn up at the ceremony though. I think that was absolutely disgraceful.
Right.
But yeah,
made it sweeter for me, Marc.
Yeah, I'm sure it did.
Made it sweeter. Okay, I know that they said everything pretty much, Shaun. But if you had to pick your favourite moment from 2024, what would it be for Steve?
I'd be Pep signing a new deal. Yeah, that's what I think is the standout for me. I think not only just for this club, but for the Premier League and football in general, because he's changed the way everybody sees football down to grassroots. And I don't think anybody in my time has had an impact on so many different teams and coaches that people want to do the exact same thing. Even if they shouldn't be doing it, they still try to play that way. And I think it's made the game better to watch. Is you see people trying to play football. I remember playing when I was little and the ball would just keep going over my head. You're small as me, so it's like, you know that. So, and it was when we was younger, it was hard because we wanted the ball on the ground. But now to see everybody trying to play football the right way, and if they do play that long ball, it's aimed at a reason. It's not just kick. So it's refreshing to have him still at this club and still in the Premier League.
So do you think you'd have been even better if you'd have played in this era of football?
I reckon if I played under Pep, yeah. Because he seems to make everybody better. Nobody comes here and leaves a worse player. They always go on to other stuff in their life. So, yeah, I think there's not many players he can't make better.
Oh, Shaun, the City fans would have loved to have seen you under Pep. A prime Shaun Wright-Phillips right now in this team under Pep. Woof.
Would have been nice.
Oh. Shaun's like, oh, darn it.
A treble winning player as well would have been.
Well, that was our favourite moments of 2024. We also asked some of the fans. We caught up with Luke Stanley, a.k.a. MCFC Lads, to hear his favourite moments of the year.
Favourite away day? Favourite away day. Real Madrid was good, 3-3. That was a good one. Best opposition stadium? Tottenham. And that was a good game as well, 2-0 last season. That was so good. Best atmosphere? I'd go Tottenham again. It was a massive game. We had to go there to win the league. We'd never scored. We'd scored there just earlier in the season. We'd barely scored there. We'd never really won there in the league. So, yeah, huge 2-0 win. That was good. Favourite goal? Favourite goal? It's got to be Foden against United right in that top corner. Best footy scran? Oh, you know what? It's too pricey nowadays. But I did have a nice chicken balti pie at the Etihad. Worst journey? Worst journey, I've got two for you. One, Tottenham, 2 months ago, Carabao Cup loss. I had food poisoning, I was in hospital until 4 a.m. the night before. and I just about got there, but it was horrible. And then on top of that, we've had some bad European games, and Lisbon was about 26 hours of travelling, 2 4 a.m. wake-ups, absolute disaster, and we got battered, but you got to do it, haven't you?
Favourite individual performance?
I'll go Phil Foden. There's too many to name them. He had a couple hat-tricks last year, didn't he? He was a joke.
Best individual performance from an opposition player?
I hate to say it, but Spurs battered us here 4-0. Vicario was playing half a game with a broken ankle, and he made so many saves, so you've got to give it to him.
Final one, prediction for 2025.
Prediction for 2025, I think it's going to be a bit of a hectic one. I don't think we'll win the Premier League, but hopefully we can win the Champions League, and yeah, there's more trophies to come for sure.
Yes, Luke. We love that. I love how he just casually said we're not going to win the Premier League, but I think we'll win the Champions League. Love that, Luke. We're going to bring that positivity into 2025. Now we're going to switch our focus just for a minute and talk about the club's charity, City in the Community. I know that you all love City in the Community as much as I do. We're all extremely proud of the work that they do. And throughout the month of December, they've been running their 0161 Christmas Calling campaign. I was going to wear my Christmas jumper again today, but I thought it's confused. It felt like it had gone past the time. So I didn't wear it, but I did wear it throughout December, and it was part of a wonderful campaign where it was raising money for City in the Community. And we're now joined on our big screen by Sally Cannon, who is house manager at Ronald McDonald House, who is supported by City in the Community, and she was present at a recent visit by our women's first team. Hi, Sally.
Hi.
Thank you very much for joining us. We'd love to know a little bit more about Ronald McDonald House and the work that it does for young people.
Yeah, so Ronald McDonald House Charities UK is an independent charity, and I'm lucky enough to be the house manager at the one based in Manchester at Royal Manchester Children's Hospital. So we provide free home-from-home accommodation to families and siblings while their child is in hospital just over the road. And families can stay with us for as long as their child's in hospital, free of charge, taking away a huge element of stress that they'd be going through otherwise. And as well as having the accommodation, we also have a day pass programme. So for families that just need to come together away from that clinical environment, they can come over to our house, which sounds like it's small, but it's got 65 bedrooms and lots of communal areas for them to take a much needed break from hospital life.
Oh, it sounds absolutely amazing. And of course, City in the Community have partnered up with you to support the work. How will City in Community support help you?
Oh, hugely. So we obviously have to focus on raising funds to provide those services that I've just talked to you about. But the families staying with us have a vast amount of needs, and we wouldn't be able to meet all of those if it wasn't for campaigns such as the one that you guys have been doing for us all throughout December. What we're so excited about, as though this has been a Christmas campaign, this is to fund services that are going to run throughout 2025. And it's going to have various elements to it. One is going to focus around the patients, because obviously that's so important. They're taken away from their lives at home. And a big factor can be what they've missed out on or reintegrating back at home. So some of that support will be during their stay in hospital, but more importantly, transitioning them back into the community within Greater Manchester. There's
No, please go ahead. It's so interesting.
There's also a programme that's going to focus on the whole family, because obviously having a child in hospital doesn't just affect the patient, it's the parents and it's the siblings. So there's going to be a lot of work done around that. And specifically the siblings we're really excited about. We always say that the hospital are the experts looking after the patient, and then that's where we come in to look after those wider family members. But we just wouldn't be able to do it if it wasn't for the support of Greater Manchester and obviously all the City fans that are giving to this wonderful campaign.
So we thought we were just wearing a Christmas jumper there, wearing a Christmas jumper throughout December. But of course, 0161 Christmas Calling, the campaign, how important is that then for Ronald McDonald House?
It's crucial. As I already mentioned, we have to focus on the foundations of keeping families together, because a child should not be in hospital on their own. They need their parents, they need their loved ones around them to help them get better, obviously along with all the medical interventions. But we really do need that local community support to raise funds to be able to offer all these wonderful services that are going to just benefit so many families. We can accommodate 65 families every night, as well as those that are coming to use our day facilities. So it's just going to benefit so many people.
And as part of the campaign, some of our women's team came down for a visit. What was that like?
Oh, it was amazing. We had Jill and Naomi come down to the house. Obviously, the team loved it, but more importantly, it was the families and the patients that were well enough could come over to the house and meet the players, and also the wider family that I keep referencing that we look after. The smiles on the kids' faces, as you can see, it's just such special moments. And when you're in hospital, it's obviously really, really tough. So any elements of fun and normal life and creating happy memories is so important to us. And Jill and Naomi were just lovely. Like they had such a great time chatting with everybody and really getting involved and finding out about all the family circumstances and how the hospital was helping and how the house was helping. And seeing firsthand for themselves how this Christmas campaign is going to benefit all these families throughout next year.
Sally, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for all the incredible work that you're doing around Greater Manchester at Ronald McDonald House. Sounds like a really magical place. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, and thank you so much to all the City fans and the community that are getting behind this campaign.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sally. I love hearing about the work the City and the community does. I always do. But to hear it so specific, Shaun, we're so proud of City and the community. Of course, you've done a lot of work with them over the years.
Yeah, but it's something that the club has always done. Even from when I was 16, they used to do little pantos, and we used to have to dress up and go on stage and act with the kids. You do your hospital visits and various other stuff. And I think with the success, it's helped them bring it to like a global space now. So all the stuff in the community they're doing here, they're also doing in India. They go into some beautiful places. You meet some cool kids, and the partners and the City working together has been massive. And it's wicked to see what the giving back part. Because I think if we're a club that gives back, your fans in many ways will always appreciate you, and I think it's very important.
Thank you. I know how much you always talk about when you're on your trips around the world, how much you love that part of the trips as well. So if you want to support City and the community, the campaign is still running at the minute. 0161 Christmas Calling. They're still selling retail items in the shop. You can get onto mancity.com/Christmas Calling, or you can scan the QR code. It's now there on your screen next to the snowman. Very cute. Scan that now and you can support City and the community. Now, today is a very, very special day. We are celebrating 500 games of Pep Guardiola being in charge of our club. What an incredible milestone. Let's have a little look back now at some just a tidbit of those special, special moments.
Pep Guardiola will be taking over as Manchester City manager.
When he first came, the people said, there's no way you can play that kind of football.
Has to prove in England. Okay. We did it.
He's just so hungry. He's just relentless.
He's always constantly evolving.
Manchester City are purring right from the off.
Rodri! Oh, wow!
I want to be serious. I want to be effective.
It's another gorgeous Manchester City goal.
We insist a lot with the players. It's a play simple. The rest is because we are good.
De Bruyne. Oh, belter!
The influence of Pep has just been immense. He changed the way we understand the football. Yeah, it just makes football look easy.
Into the gap for Bernardo Silva. We're all going to Istanbul. Rodri, 1-0!
When you're watching Pep City in full flow, it's like seeing a great conductor.
And that is what champions do.
Bernardo Silva.
Sometimes the football is nice. It's beautiful.
And Foden's got a hat-trick too. It's Raheem Sterling. That wins titles.
Formidable, absolutely sensational.
Standards that you have to hit now are so high, they are so close to perfection.
Had a look, had a hit. If you're calling for the king, you best not miss.
Bring on our champions. The guy's like a wizard. Players are completely under his spell. They win again and again. 21 on the spin. Goal after goal. Record after record. 100!
Yes! Another milestone reached for Pep Guardiola.
Oh my goodness, absolute and utter goosebumps watching that. Huge congratulations to Pep Guardiola. Today will be his 500th game in charge of Manchester City in all competitions. Just the second manager to reach that milestone for the club after Les McDowell, who had 592. That was in 1950 to 1963. So a huge milestone for Pep today. Quick little quiz for you both. I'm just making up on the spot. 499 games in charge so far. How many wins?
Are we doing percentage?
No, out of number of games he's won.
Right, so 500. I'm going to say nearly 400 of them. I'm going for around about 400.
OK, Mark?
I'll go 401 then.
You went the wrong way, Mark. 354 wins out of 500.
Terrible.
73 draws, right? Just the 71% of games that he's managed for Manchester City won. Do you want to try and guess how many goals? 499 games, how many goals? You go first this time, Mark.
Oh, my God. 499. I don't know why I'm working it out. I got 1,000.
OK. You're going to do 999 or 1,001?
1,100.
More.
More.
Well, 1,211 in 499 games. And the last one, the stat that really matters, 18 major honours in 499 games. Absolutely phenomenal. Shaun, I don't know where to start when we're talking about Pep Guardiola. Just tell me, what does he mean to you? How good is he?
There isn't anywhere to start. He's like, you go back over the years and there's always certain managers that stand out. And in my time, you obviously had your Alex Ferguson, then Arsene Wenger comes in, and then Pep comes in. And for me, it's hard to say because they were all good in their own ways in that time. For me, I think he just pips them in terms of what he's done for the game. And he hasn't just built the club. He almost did a Fergie in many ways, where he's taken the whole club from academy to women's and put it basically on a pedestal. Everyone talks about City being one of the best clubs in the world, and that's happened over his tenure here. Obviously, the backroom staff and the staff behind the scenes has played a massive part in that as well. But without the success on the football, it doesn't. The club isn't where we know it should be, and that's all to this man here and this challenge, that this little ruck that we're in now. He's most probably reveling in that because he's thinking of, how am I going to fix this solution? And he won't give up. And for me, it doesn't seem like he will give up until he's done that and put the club back where he knows it belongs.
You will have a different perspective, Marc, obviously, as a player that's played against a Pep Guardiola team. What is that like?
Yeah, not nice. I think, first of all, I echo what Shaun says. I think the impact that he's had not only on Man City as a football club, but on football in general, is incredible, especially in the Premier League. He's got managers. There's managers now managing in the Premier League that are doing so well. Enzo Maresca and Mikel Arteta, they've all learned under his guidance. So that speaks volumes. But preparing yourself against a Pep team is very hard indeed. You know that you can think of something where you think, right, wait, maybe we can hurt him here, and within seconds during the game he's just changed what he does and to combat that. So very difficult. I just feel like he's just got endless ideas, I've spoken to players that have played under him that I've played with, and they've just said he's just another level of coach. So you can see how hard he works, and it's. I think we're grateful and we're blessed to have witnessed his work.
When you know you're going to be playing his team, do you almost just have to accept you're not going to have a lot of the ball? City are going to dominate possession. City are going to have most of the ball. Do you just accept that and work out a different way to play?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think there is games where you've got to be honest enough to say, look, we're not going to have the lion's share of possession here. So we need to wait for our chance, wait for our opportunities, stay compact, and I think the main thing is being disciplined. You have to be disciplined as a group to stay in shape, to weather storms and not get frustrated with your teammates and the players around you, because you know you're going to have difficult spells against a Man City team, and you want to stay in the game for as long as possible. I think I've played in games at the Etihad where we've gone a goal down in the first sort of couple of minutes, and you know you're in for a long afternoon then, and it could be anything. So it's about staying disciplined, staying focused, and trying to stay in the game for as long as possible.
I want to talk about this again at half-time and probably at full-time as well, because Marc played in a very, very famous game that Pep was in charge of, and I want to watch the goal again, but we're running out of time, so we'll do that at either half-time or full-time. In the meantime, we're going to go back over now to the King Power and get the final thoughts of FG and of Steve Howie.
Yes, welcome back to the King Power Stadium. The players are doing their final preparations, and we're going to give you our final thoughts as the sun has gone in. So the lighting on this, hopefully, will be superb. Final thoughts going into the game. We've won our last 4 away games against Leicester, haven't conceded a single goal. Stats don't matter though, do they?
Well, it's all about what happens today. I mean, it's a great stat, to be quite honest. So, you know, looking forward to the game. With the fact that Kevin De Bruyne is starting, excited about that. You know, he's kind of been in and out, but with him starting, really looking forward to see what he's going to do today. Does that mean then Phil is pushed a little bit further forward? Does he find them pockets, which helps Erling Haaland? So, yeah, should be a good game.
How important is it to get a fast start here and to keep the crowd quiet, because the atmosphere behind us and around the stadium is building already?
Well, I mean, it's a lovely ground, but the noise generated in here is really, really good. The fans do get behind them, so I think if City can get a good start and get a goal, and then all of a sudden it quietens them down, and I think everybody be thinking this at some stage it's going to click for City, and they could be thinking, oh, dear me, it could be one of them days.
Well, listen, we've had a sensational run under our manager, and it's his 500th Manchester City game. I can't believe I'm saying that, because that time has flown by. I mean, what do you make of what you've seen of Pep Guardiola and his teams?
Probably can't say anything that hasn't been said before. I mean, he's just a superb manager. Obviously, for him at this moment, it's kind of unprecedented, really, what's happening. But as I said before earlier in the show, he's got to be one of the best managers ever. So, you know, to have him here and for the length of time, because we all know he's been kind of gone to clubs and come away, but for him to be here for this long has been absolutely superb.
Yeah, I think on behalf of every single Manchester City fan, we thank you for everything, Pep Guardiola, and we pray that you stay for 500 more. We're going to head back to the studio.
We absolutely do, and we thank you, FG and Steve Howie as well. We'll be going back to the King Power at half-time and at full-time, where hopefully there'll be some celebratory scenes of FG and Steve Howie pitch side. So we are less than 7 minutes away from today's 2:30 p.m. kickoff. You can see there is our captain for today, Kevin De Bruyne. He's in an in-depth conversation there with that woman. I wonder if she's talking tactics with him. The teams are lining up, so we'll get our final thoughts from our guests in the studio. Shaun, we'll come to you first. How is this game going to go? How are you feeling right now?
You know me, I'm always positive, Nat. So I think we do win this one. It won't be easy, but I think this may be the corner we're all waiting to turn. So I'm hoping the big man gets on the score sheet. He's captain of my fantasy team, so
you still got him.
Yeah, need him to score. I stick with my players.
You're loyal. I sold him last week, Shaun. I'm sorry. Right, hold off on your score prediction. I noticed he's wearing a lovely blue bobble today as well. Very nice, Erling. Marc, or how do you think this game's going to go?
Yeah, I'm going to try and be as positive as possible from a Leicester point of view. I think the news that Vardy's back is a big plus for Leicester. So, score prediction. I'm going to go 2-2.
Okay.
Score draw. I'm going to go 2-2.
Okay then, Shaun.
3-1 City.
3-1 City. Okay, and you're hoping your captain's going to get a couple?
I hope he gets all three, to be honest.
So we can see the teams they are lining up. I was always really interesting. Rico Lewis was having an eyes closed, deep breath.
I saw that.
Yeah,
I saw that as well.
It's really interesting how players generally are very different in how they are in this moment.
Yeah, everyone's completely different. I just used to have a laugh and a joke just to kind of focus, focus somewhere else.
Yeah,
I find it was easier for me than just being like straight-faced tunnel vision sort of thing. It just depends on the player.
Yeah. It's really interesting. Loved seeing that. Vardiol's just leaning against the wall. He's just like, yeah, cool, when we played football. I love that. Right, the players are going out now. Thank you very much for joining us on Matchday Live today. Thank you very much, Marc, for coming and joining us today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Shaun, as always. And thank you all for joining us. You will now get your full match commentary. If you're not currently watching on the app, that is the place to go. And it's with Alistair Mann and with Steve Howie. We will be back at half-time and we will be back at full-time, where hopefully Shaun and I are celebrating and talking about finally turning the corner and ending 2024 the right way. Enjoy the game, Blues. Come on, stay positive. We'll see you at half-time.
Thank you, Natalie. So City's most successful ever manager reaches another significant milestone as Pep Guardiola clocks up 500 matches in charge of the Blues. 18 trophies and countless memories have been gathered under his guidance. In excess of 1,200 goals scored tells you everything that his philosophy is all about. Today he'll be seeking his 355th win at Leicester City as the Blues look to get back on track. It would certainly be fitting if City not only won today, but did so in the flamboyant, exciting way that has typified his glorious years at the helm. Well, of course, Leicester have their own motivation for gathering 3 points, as their recent struggles have seen them drop into the bottom three.